expression of the inner feelings of a human being. The way that we live in this world, perceptions that we have about life is based on the things that we face in our everyday understanding. When it comes to poetry, it is the eternal expression of oneself. And for development to be there in the society,
okay, he might be joining us.
Ourselves
So we are
that we can,
live now.
because from
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to South TV. This is Monica Kunzekwe Guta, your host. Today we are celebrating our award-winning poet, Takudzwa Chikepe. And I have got Reverend TJ Maforo today. And I'm so looking forward to hear more about this gentleman because he came across my radar recently when I was introduced to him by Reverend TJ Maforo. I am excited because we, as Zimbabweans, I always say we need to use our talents. We need to write. Yesterday, we were talking about celebrating our heroes, and I can't express it enough how important it is that we use writing to tell stories and to express our feelings and to teach and to leave a legacy. So, Reverend Maforo, today I'm handing this to you. Take it away.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. This morning, it's actually afternoon now. We are coming together today to invite our people to a culture of writing. We are inviting our people to a culture of celebrating the writers. And we are inviting our people to a culture of appreciating literature, and it comes in various forms. So it's my joy because I know that you are an avid writer who has shared many stories, but also created platforms for other people who have never really written to get their first experience, and realizing that this is an expression, and the individual we are expecting to join us today is Takudzwa Chikepe, aka Wachikepe, and there's no intention here to infringe copyright, but
poetry is the expression of the inner feelings of a human being. The way that we live in this world is based on the perceptions that we have about life. It's based on the things that we face in our everyday understanding. When it comes to poetry, it is the eternal expression of oneself. And for development to be there in the society, we need to express ourselves the best that we can, because from the inner parts of our being is where the solutions are to solve the problems that we are facing every day as artists, every day as people in the society. Thank you so much. My name is Chikepe, the poet. Thank you.
So that's in his own words. You know, giving valid reasons for supporting poetry, supporting art. supporting literature, and he relates to it as an expression. And he goes further enough to even suggest that it plays a major role in development. So, just as a way of probably, Monica, you will continue talking to him, reaching out to him here. I'm just going to read. This is a Herald article. The Herald is the original article here, but the story is featured on the allafrica.com, and the heading is Zimbabwe. Chikepe wins prestigious poetry award. This was a story by Talent Bope or Bob. I'm not too sure about the pronunciation, but it reads, Norton-based poet Takudzwa Chikepe, aged 34, has won the Best African Entertainer on Poetry at the 39th edition of the International Reggae and World Music Awards, held on Sunday in Jamaica. This is way back in May. Chikepe, who is affectionately known as Chikepe, uses the Holy Bible and African language to inspire his artistry. Okay, I should have read there. Another Zimbabwean dancehall musician, Winky D, scooped the Best African Dancehall Entertainer at the same awards. Right back to Chikepe, the poet became the first in Africa to win the award for poetry, competing against rivals from all over the world. Commenting on his WhatsApp platform, Chikepe thanked his fans from Zimbabwe and South Africa for embracing him to attain the top position. And he says, thank you so much, Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world at large for voting for me and loving my art. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, amen, he said. I'm so happy, and thank you so much, Jamaica, for the prestigious World Award. My poetry journey has been characterized by prayer, hard work, change of identities, tears, different mentorships, calling traits, and great support from friends and family. I believe the big ship is sailing to greater heights. So that's the story that we hear from Takudzwa. So we really want to take an opportunity. The real deal here today, we are celebrating him. So Monica, there you are. You got this story. I know I lost you for a little bit, but did you get the gist of the story?
I got a little bit of it because I was trying to check with him what's going on, and it's the network that is affecting his connection. But he's sorting himself out so that he can join us.
Okay.
So he did not lose me. I was working behind the scenes.
Awesome. But
yes.
So basically, what I was telling our followers this afternoon is that number one, we're talking about the Best Entertainer Award for Poetry at a world stage. He shared the platform with Winky D, who was also receiving an award for a different category, which is dancehall. So I like his humility. He is a young person who is based in Norton. By the way, there is a lot of art in Norton. If you remember, that's where our icon, Oliver Takudzwa was based. And Chikepe is based in Norton. So he likes to say, from the dusty streets of Norton, all the way to the world or global stage. I will also, just to give you more information here, our followers, is that Chikepe has been invited twice, not once, but twice, to take the stage of poetry at major colleges in the United States. Something that he has done so well and proudly represented not only his community in Norton, but Zimbabwe at large. And yes, artists. So it's significant for us to celebrate that. If as a community we identify a talent, it may not look like our own talent. It may not look like what we, maybe for parents, like what we wanted our children to do. I will tell you that his mother is very supportive. I know his father is. His mother is a poet as well. So that's brief information that I can share with you. But in his acknowledgement of the award, his words are very touching for me. I will repeat, what he says. He says, "Thank you so much, Zimbabwe and Africa and the world at large, for voting me and loving my art. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen." So there is here a poet who chooses to do clean poetry. And he is also showing Christians that you can be a Christian, you can be a poet, and therefore you can be a Christian poet. And he said, "I am so happy and thank you so much, Jamaica, for the prestigious World Award." And here is where I think he captures his background and his history. And he says, "My poetry journey has been characterized by," and several things he mentioned here: prayer, hard work, change of identities, tears, different mentorships, calling traits, and great support from friends and family. So that's the acknowledgement he gave. So I'm gonna let you give your comment and insight.
It's absolutely amazing. There is so much talent, and I think we all need to keep highlighting the talents that people have. Keep recognizing them, because the trends are changing. People are not only getting their livelihood through manual work or office work. People are now earning a living through talent. And it pays much more than most of these professions sometimes, because we now realize that talent supports our emotional needs, and it also supports our growth. As we listen to someone reciting their poem, there is a message there that is going to encourage us. There is a message there that is going to teach us about something. There is also some healing words.
Yes.
Yes, and so realizing the impact that those talents are bringing to us is what is now bringing soft skills to the forefront of the economy these days.
Yep.
I am so proud that we have our very own Zimbabweans who are embracing art, embracing their talents and their skills. And despite the challenges, they're not being limited by their circumstances. From the dusty roads of Norton to the world stage. So he's also an example of showing people that where you are right now should not limit where you can go.
It mustn't define you either.
It mustn't define you. And so from Norton, he has traveled in his mind, and he's used his mind to reach people throughout the world. And so we are celebrating him for what he is doing and for what he is showing the younger generations, because we need more examples. We need more tangible. It's something or someone that they can relate to when they see him. They see that this is my uncle, this is my brother. He has done this, and so he's able to inspire them to be more and to realize that they can escape through their mind.
Well, let us hear him once again.
Steam in steam, I am coming home. Is this your home? Press corner, I don't care, and whatever, I am coming home. We eat flies for breakfast, cockroaches for lunch, rats for supper. That is where I come from. I am coming home. Home. Highest level of measured self-esteem. I am coming home. When I say we, I do not refer to myself, but that person that you think you are better than. That person that gives you identity, that person that holds your place in poverty states and spheres. If it wasn't that person, it could have been you looking at yourself and not being yourself and saying to yourself, blessed is this person. Home.
I am coming home.
Blessed
I love this piece.
Who are they? What unit of measurement is used to locate them? Located, and then what? 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 I do not know you is how we group ourselves. Lucky enough, it wasn't me, is how we normalize the abnormalities. What's next? We keep on clicking that button, until maybe one day we completely delete ourselves from the face of memory, to becoming different digits that systematically work together in a certain pattern in the binary system of life. In abundance, we live, but so scarce is.
I think what is so important here is in this piece is talking about how we find ourselves. How we find ourselves includes locating ourselves in history. And that history is what has made us. Where have we come from? What is home? And in search of ourselves, he is saying, I am coming home. So I played this one so that we could connect this with the words of acknowledgement he gave that he says, my journey has been characterized with change of identity. My journey has been characterized with tears. My journey has been characterized with support. My journey has been characterized. So he mentions a lot of things in just one sentence, how he looks back to where he started. And I think it's an invitation for us, all of us, to remember where we are coming from and remember that we can locate ourselves in history, not to mourn over the history, because there have been some, like he said, there's been tears in the journey. Our lives may have gone through pain and struggle and tears, but that's the journey. You can't change the past. I have often had people say you cannot change history, but you can change your today and your tomorrow. Of course, you can't change history, but when you locate yourself in that history, you see how God has extricated you from the toughest of toughest times. So I just feel that we can look back at that aspect of a journey one goes through, traverses, before they get to that actualization part. I'll let you comment about that if you picked some things of interest in the poem. Go ahead.
From the poem, I like you. I like the part where he keeps connecting and saying, "I am coming home. I am coming home." Home, despite the fact that people can move away and travel, going somewhere, home will always be home. And I don't know about other people, but for me, if I stay for too long without being in Zimbabwe, without being home, I feel a bit imbalanced. I feel as though I'm floating. I cannot express the feeling. But when I step on that soil, it seems as though everything changes. It is because home is where our roots are. but so much more represents home. It's not just where we have come from, but it is where our history is. It is where everything that defines us to be who we are is. And so when you are finding that, I'm kind of feeling lost here, you reconnect with home and you're reminded of who you are.
I know that you yourself, you have done a series of, programs where you were talking about your own journey, including the tears in that journey, including the difficulties in that journey, and acknowledging that, yes, I am within that history, but here I am, and how can I now use my where I am now to change certain things that are a hangover from that history. And I know you are at the moment seized with thinking about how you can change lives of the girl child. And I know there's one, I don't want to use the word trending because it trivializes the matter, but there's a story of a young girl. Is it 12-year-old or I don't remember, that you have posted, an abused little girl, but you are determined to help many young girls like that. And I have in the past celebrated together with you the work that Nyaradzai Gumbonjanda is doing in Murewa to change the prospects for the girl child. But I am mentioning this because you have now used your ability to write and document and share stories to then bring a change to a current circumstance. So we therefore can use our skills. For me, I will confess that growing up as a young boy, I never realized that art had a place in somebody's future. I did not think in my school I had anyone. There's the question, what do you do? What do you want to do when you grow up? I did not hear anyone say, I am going to be a poet. I'm going to be a dancer. I'm going to be a musician. But we were always given we were kind of prepared for just to go away from art. But now art is an agent of development. Do you realize what he is saying here? Art is an agent of development. And I wanted you to talk briefly about that because I know you're passionate.
Yes.
You are determined, and you locate yourself in history, and you are saying, in my art, I am going to change those circumstances that I mourn over. I'm going to change them. But you are using the pen. You are using your literary skills. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm using the pen, and I'm also using this platform.
Of course.
So that I bring people, we talk about these issues. I don't know everything, but I will use what I know and also my ability to connect with others, so that together we use a collective effort to sort out any issues that are arising. That is why this South TV is not a diaspora thing. It connects. And if you look at how it's done, it's just like building for the future. It is connecting us with home.
Connecting people, correct.
Yes, it is continuously connecting us with home. We are not doing enough if we don't think about our people. For me, it's for the young girls who are not fortunate to escape what I escaped. I managed to run away, but this child had nowhere to go.
This
And
girl
could not. To be honest with you, she is not 14. She is under 12.
That's sad.
Yes, looking at her, there is no way she is 14, because she just doesn't look that age. And the level of violation is unspeakable.
And it is the impunity that really makes everything worse.
Absolutely. And so without digressing too much, I don't think we should be doing a petition. What is a petition for, really? Why are we signing a paper to say something must be done to the people? Those people should be arrested. Right now, they should be in custody. All of them.
Yeah,
right
all the
now.
facilitators.
So when I'm saying all of them, I'm talking about the people who were in the household of the man and the people were in the household where this child came from. All of them, including
they are accomplices.
They are all accomplices because they watched the
participate.
child. They did.
Yeah.
But that is a topic for tomorrow. Tomorrow here, we're going to be talking about that in detail. Today, it is about poetry. And to go back to, so I have given him my number. I've given Chikepe my number so that he calls me on WhatsApp, and I'll put him on audio. So I'm waiting for him. I don't know what the hold up is.
Okay. You want to try to call him then?
I don't have his number. I gave him mine, but you can you can give me his, and then at least we will hear him. I have got my speaker here so that the sound is perfect. You can text it to me. 7917816. I think the network today is really bad.
It is.
Where
because
yes.
I don't think it's even gonna work because I've just briefly tried to call him on WhatsApp.
And it has not.
No.
Okay.
And I think if he's, but I think that should not take away.
No, from
take away because we are celebrating him.
Yes,
he was coming to provide details and information, but it's us, the Zimbabweans, who are celebrating him. So wherever you are right now, Chikepe, we want to honor you for your great work, because this has taken Norton, has taken Zimbabwe, has taken our art far, and you are trailblazing. You are creating a path for younger people to follow. They have somebody to look up to. So keep on keeping on, Chikepe. We celebrate you, we honor you, and may God bless you. I know that your mother is a poet, probably one who inspired you. So we celebrate her as well. And we want to continue to profile you, to bring to the fore, because we have to say we have to talk more and more about these achievements, because I think that musicians, they get more recognition, they get airplay on the radio, they are invited to big shows. But how many people write about poetry? So I think that we are honored to be able to do that. When I was talking to him yesterday, he said, "Wow, this is the first time I am so honored to be invited by onto a Christian platform." And he says, "I've been interviewed at the radio, I've been interviewed by reggae platforms, I've been interviewed, but for you as a pastor to want to interview me is so significant, because I feel that I represent the church."
I've got him on
Yes.
on Messenger. Chikepe, can you speak?
Hello.
Yes. Oh, we've been celebrating you in your absence here, but now we're gonna do an audio, so we'll just allow you to speak, introduce yourself, say a little bit more about the work that you are doing, so that we give the platform to you. This is Monica Kunzekwe Guta on South TV, celebrating award-winning poet Takudzwa.
Welcome, Chikepe.
Thank you so much, Monica Kunzekwe. Thank you so much, Rev Maforo. I'm very happy to be here. I'm a little bit upset about technology and the type of technology that we have in Africa, but such is life. Yeah. So I'm very happy to be here.
So we've played some of your poems. One about coming home.
I'm going home.
Yeah. I'm going home. And
we read some news articles about your award.
Yes. And I hear your mom is also a poet. Wouldn't it be amazing to have both of you on the platform here? I think that would inspire quite a lot of people and other mothers who are not even thinking that the poetry skills that they have is important.
Well, I think before we lose him again, maybe he should tell us the journey to Jamaica.
Yes, go ahead. Tell us about the journey to Jamaica.
All right. So the journey to Jamaica, it was a surprise. How I ended up being nominated and winning the award, the IROMA award. It was a surprise in the sense that I've been writing poetry until a time when I was discovered by some guys from a college called Bridgewater in the US, in Virginia. So I went there in 2018 and I did poetry about more than 60 poets, and I was the top poet in I would say one of the top poets, because they chose the best 10. So, and I was the only person from Africa, or I would say in poetic language, dark-skinned, I would say. Then I went back again in 2019. That was the time when we were two that were selected again in the top 10, and the other guy was Rich Innocent. Rich Innocent, he does dub poetry, where they just start to speak out poetry from his head, in a way like he has memorized 4 pages, 5 pages, and it's more like performance. So he's very good in doing that. And for me, I specialize in reading and writing poetry. So I also read my poetry, and it was reckoned amazing. Appreciating each other, like he does something that I can't do, and him, I do something that he can't do. Because the first question I asked him, like, so where is your book so I can buy your book? And he said he didn't have a book now. Then I went like, why? And he went like, we always recording in the studio, we always memorizing. So that's how we became friends. And assumably, I think when you went back to Jamaica, he said a good word about me, because after that, I started seeing a lot of my audience on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. A lot of people from the Caribbean, and I think that's how they started to evaluate my work. Because I've been writing poetry now for 15 years, from 2006, and they realized that I've reached a certain stage in terms of poetry. So that's how that is my journey. That's how I ended up being the Aroma winning award poet.
Fantastic. 15 years is a long time. Were you at any time discouraged? Because I know that art, sometimes when you say you want to do art, you are not so encouraged by the comments that people make.
Yeah.
What was your experience?
The truth is, I've been so much discouraged, but not really discouraged by people, because my family, they are very supportive. Like I was saying, my mom, she's a comedian. She's just a comedian. I don't know how she ended up not doing art or something else. So the family was very supportive. The society, I grew up being, I would say, those they call the alpha gentlemen. So I always had some fun all the time, because at one time I was the head boy at Nyatime College, a boarding school. Same as at primary school, I was the prefect, and all sorts of things. So I always had people who would listen to my things. But the time that I would get really discouraged, in a way, I would say, was the time when I would see life passing by, but without me being part of life. It's because there was something that was in me that was starting to change my character and my personality in a way that I can't resist that something. At the same time, I love that something, but not me only loving that something, also loving other things, but also seeing those things passing me by. But at the same time, being left alone, solitude, and not really being what I really wanted to be in life. So it wasn't really a very good journey. But the paradox of the matter is, I ended up finding my solace in poetry. I ended up building a relationship with poetry. I ended up starting to accept myself that I'm a poet, that I'm an artist. I ended up, having a relationship with poetry to an extent that we would give each other turns of understanding life or studying life until where I am right now. So the art journey is not an easy journey. For me, I'll see it as something that is very spiritual, because especially like the art journey. Like yesterday, I was talking to someone. I was saying to someone like, we are all artists, although most of us are entertainers. Why are we entertainers? Because we need to get a living from our art. But that doesn't mean that is the apex of art. Sometimes art is there not to entertain people, but sometimes art is there just to live as art. So So there are different realms of and levels of understanding art, and I think I've gone through all those levels to where I am right now. So it was something else. It was a journey that I'm starting now to understand. While I was passing through that journey, I think it was a cloud of confusion in some way. Sometimes there were confusion that I wouldn't understand, that I'm confused. Sometimes there were confusions that I would understand, like, oh, okay, something is happening, but I have to make use of it. For example, the time when I was at university, I learned that I was at National University of Science and Technology. At NASA, I did publishing there. For me, because of where I was coming from in terms of poetry, my brains were all inspired by poetry more than anything in this world. To an extent that when I was at NASA, to remember the days of orientation, for me, I was thinking like, okay, fine. At that time, I think I was 19 years or 20 years. I was saying, okay, fine, I'm now at the university. We're going to learn all sorts of things that we have never learned in our lives. So what I did, I carried a pocket dictionary. And within the first week of me being at university, I had finished reading the pocket dictionary, thinking that we're going to learn out of this world things that are beyond poetry, only to realize that when we were in class, it was slightly the same in a way as when we are upper six, whereby the lecturer comes and the lecturer talks to you. You need to memorize everything that the lecturer has said, so as to get a P. If you read a little bit, you get a 2-2. If you read a little bit deeper, you get a 2-1. If you slightly think out of the box, you get a distinction. So for me, if I was to equate that in a way, in terms of the level at which I had reached in poetry, that wasn't really exciting enough for me. So most of my time at university, I would spend most of my time writing poetry. But out of writing poetry, I would use the same energy levels in class to understand what they are teaching us in class. And at the same time, I also grew a relationship that I would also go to the library, read all sorts of books. I would read books about metaphysics. I would read books about philosophy. I would read books about art, books about anything beyond publishing that I was studying at that time. Then I would use that energy or those energy levels to inspire myself to write poetry. So that is how, in a way, as an example, I was also evolving to become the poet that I am today.
Fantastic. Pretty amazing, really. You were intentional, even though you did not realize at the time that you were intentional, and your main focus was to build that creative muscle. And I think you did that well. Reverend Maforo, have you got anything to add or comment?
Okay, good. I was just going to ask him if he's still there. The winning the award, what has it done to you? I think that's my interest here. But within the same vein, I would want to know from you that you won an award during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Did this make your celebration subdued, dampened, so to speak? So those are the two questions. What has the award, winning this award, done to you? Number two, has the pandemic dampened your celebration and ability to go out there and shout on the mountaintop? Is he there?
Okay, start again.
Okay, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I was saying I'm very happy that I won this award. This is the biggest award I've won so far, in addition to those two recognitions in Virginia and the US, where I was in the top 10. So I'm very happy. This is a very big award because this is the Mutabaruka Award. So it's more like subconsciously I've been given the Mutabaruka stick of poetry so as to develop poetry or to be the ambassador of poetry in the shoes of Mutabaruka, the great poet. So it is very big beyond the way it could have been celebrated. In Zimbabwe, I would say there was a time I went to the state in 2018 for the first time, and I came back after 6 months. I was so inspired because the guys in the state, they love my poetry. They understand my poetry. They've got a relationship with my poetry. So I came back to Norton and I started to do poetry at Pakarepai, so eager to develop my society in terms of poetry. But sometimes people, they wouldn't come at Pakarepai, some people this Pakarepai, sometimes very few people would come. And I started to make it a research, to try to understand what is really happening here. Then one of my conclusions, or one of my biggest conclusions was, oh, okay, people, they don't know poetry. That was one of my conclusions, like people, they don't know poetry. People, they know poetry, but they don't know poetry. For example, like our relationship with poetry, most people who did sciences, who did commercials,
we lost him.
Well,
let's hope you'll be connected again.
That's right.
So go ahead and speak. I'm gonna go on.
Well, I think that we are also getting to where we are winding up the program for today. I think there are a lot of takeaways from this program today, and want to really thank you for making this possible. I think this is one way. There are many ways we can contribute meaningfully to life as it is in Zimbabwe, and I really want to encourage you and to just thank you that here we are doing what Takudzwa, in his own words, may not be receiving that amount of recognition in the community. And I am interested and keen to know more about his research about people's attitude towards poetry. Well, I have seen, like he said, he's very much active on Facebook. I have seen some of the shows. I have followed live some of the events he has done. Some have been well attended. Even the member of parliament, Themba Mliswe, has attended at least one of the shows. So that's worth recognizing. I just want our followers to know that we have a lot that is in store, that is coming up. I have another young artist coming up next Friday, and this is a visual artist, and just want to talk to the arts so that people need to know that we need a multidisciplinary approach to development. So I appreciate the resilience. I think his story is a story of resilience. And we don't want a situation where someone is celebrated elsewhere are not in their home. It is about how much we do and raise awareness. And I think Self TV is doing exactly that today. So thank you very much, Monica. I would want to use these as my concluding remarks and invite our audiences to join us again for our next programs.
Thank you so much, Reverend Maforo, because you are not only are you living your purpose as what you do for a living, but you also have a passion, the passion that I know about, the passion that I've known about for quite a few years. And this is about building for the future of Zimbabwe. And you don't just talk about it, you do it. By having conferences once a year in Kansas, a place where we all converge and talk about what we are doing to build Zimbabwe. And I always look forward to those events. And now that we don't have to wait until then.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we can use this platform to talk about building Zimbabwe, to talk about celebrating poet and art. I remember at Hartizel, I was in an art class. I was not in needlework or I was in an art class, and people used to mock me and say, saka uchapenda hembe dzemurume. Like, they were basically saying that, are you going to paint your husband's hair, husband's clothes? You should know how to sew so that you'll be able to mend. So I'm hoping that attitudes have changed. If they haven't, yes, if they haven't, we need to keep talking about it so that people realize that was not my strong suit. That was not my gift to sew. I don't enjoy it, but I enjoy drawing. And so if that was nurtured, even when I went home and I would tell my mbuya that this is art, and she'll be like, what is that? I explain, and then you would just find how she is not understanding that I could earn a living from that. But if that had been nurtured, I probably right now, I realized that I can draw floor plans. But it's lacking the connection of what this art does. So we need to encourage and to see where the gift of the child is and to nurture it, because it is also something that gives them life, in the sense that it keeps them motivated, keeps them excited, it keeps them happy. When you do something that once you start doing it, you lose track of time. This is how you discover your gift. This is how you discover what God gave you to do. And this is something that will take you very far. Thank you so much for watching us. Please share our videos with others so that we continue to build Zimbabwe. We continue to help each other, and we continue to celebrate each other, which is what this platform is for, encouraging, supporting, and celebrating. We'll see you again tomorrow, and we also have a show on Friday with Reverend Maforo, and I look forward to see which one is our next artist. I'm excited about that. Thank you. Wow. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.